How you guys doing? It's Chuck Burns for the USA. I'm out there in Thousand Oaks, California, beautiful liberal state of California, but I'm a bunch of hippies. But either way, I got a letter from the Thousand Oaks City Council saying, you have these violations to your property, and you didn't pay this building permit or that building permit because you didn't even file for a permit. And frankly, I don't believe I have to. I think that I have the right to property and I can do whatever I want with it. But I'm just going to read you what I'm going to write. What I'm actually going to say to them tonight. I'm going to do a little speech in front of City Council. And if you want this as a blueprint for talking to your City Council, go ahead and message me on YouTube. I'll send you a copy. We'll get together, we'll convo, and we'll get out to you. So you can use this maybe as a blueprint for making the same argument because we got to stop this kind of crap everywhere. It's pervasive. Like I say in here. So exact word I use actually. Our founders started this country to secure the freedom of the individual. I repeat, the individual, and his right to property to own and do as he wishes with what he buys, with only one exception, that is that he not infringe on another man's freedom and deprive him of his or her rights. It seems you have all forgotten that principle. You have forgotten that you require my consent to sit there, and yes, you need my consent. Our founders started a republic to prevent mob rule, to have a stopgap between the 51% forcing their will and the 49%. I hear in the news everywhere that this is how democracy works, or we are a democracy. It is sad to hear such ignorance from my fellow Americans. We are a constitutional republic, and under that constitution I have a right to property. We all do. The right to own property is one of the unenumerated rights that happens to be listed, and looking at the Constitution, it is listed and followed by no exceptions or prerequisites that anyone or a body such as yourselves approve of how I use it, or the manner in which I maintain it, and certainly does not say you can charge me for the right to maintain it or to own it. I have a letter here I was sent that is evidence of your multiple constitutional violations. The funny part is you are accusing me of violating your legal laws, codes, and standards. None, I repeat, none of the supposed violations listed in the letter take place on someone else's property, nor do they impose any risk on a neighbor's property, and no neighbors have came to us and expressed any concern. Quite the opposite. You have come looking for the trouble. Perhaps you feel the city is being cheated out of the funds. Excuse me. That you need to pay for this monument to waste we are attending this meeting in. I won't spend any of our time telling you how ridiculous it is that you think you can charge someone for the right to work on what is theirs and do as they see fit with it. But I will say that it is class discrimination at its worst. Why can a person of lesser means not build a modest roof over his head? Looking at the current law, if a man cannot afford LED lighting, these Simpson brackets, or enough plywood to shear wall what you require, he cannot build on his own small parcel of land a home fitting of his means. And instead, he must throw away his rent on a place he doesn't even own. This is what your codes amount to: discrimination against the poor. People say, but I won't feel safe if it's not built to standards, or buildings aren't safe unless they're code compliant. But who gave you the authority to decide what risks I choose to take? This country is full of politicians on the local level making our decisions for us, and even on the national level, telling us how our healthcare coverage is substandard. This attitude is pervasive. It is everywhere. But moving on, us paying you to come out and give your approval reminds me of mob extortion. Think about it. I pay you not to mess with me. You paid the mob, so the mob didn't mess with you. But I could just say they are both summed up as paying them to keep them from messing with you. With the mob, you didn't pay protection. As a store owner, they broke your windows. If they came back, your legs. With the city, if I am working and an enforcement officer comes by, it's a stop work order, I don't stop, he calls the sheriff. They try to issue me a citation. They tell me to stop. If I continue to work and won't sign it, I will more than likely be arrested. And at that point in time, if I refuse to comply, because I know he is unjust and he is definitely, without question, wrong, he will more than likely pull out his taser, or something worse. All in all, it comes down to one thing: forced compliance at the barrel of a gun. You all here have forgotten your place. One of the violations here is concerning what the garage is being used for, and you state that a car must be able to fit in the garage. Who are you to tell me, or anyone, what they should do with their garage? Who do you think you are? My or anybody's right to property is not only granted to me if you approve of how it's used. In fact, what you think is inconsequential to me or anyone. I don't care if you are all elected and the majority of voters approve of these laws and codes. You remember what I said in the beginning: the right of the individual. A constitutional republic to prevent mob rule. So what if the mob approves? They are not me, and if you do their bidding, you are merely their tools. You should be ashamed if you support this kind of outright lawlessness and disregarded our founders and their principles and their values. I will not submit to your unconstitutional standards. I hold myself only to the Constitution as a proud citizen of the sovereign country of America. I dare you to continue with this. I wish that you would. because you will give me the standing that I have been denied by clerks and key punchers in a courtroom. I can't have my day in court because I have never been charged with a crime. So please, commence. I have had enough. We should all stand up to these events. For a precedent must be set. Even these small things must not be tolerated, for if they are, it breeds complacency, the very thing that has all but destroyed our country.